Well, at least we're 4-0, right? Yeah, so Penn State wins. Welcome back, by the way, to the Penn State recap and preview show for week 5 of the season. And we're going to be looking back at Central Michigan, and then before we break down the Northwestern game, the fully into Big Ten play now on for the Nittany Lions. And, man, I'll tell you what, this was, a slightly disappointing game. I'm just going to say a fully out disappointing game. I was expecting a lot more, especially after the way they beat Auburn. And you don't even cover the spread against Central Michigan. That seems like, tasting you out like a, But, I mean, they get the win. It's just struggling, man, and James Franklin said it best in his post-game press conference. Wasn't their best effort. They definitely struggled, especially in the second quarter, man. Sean Clifford, boy. I was shocked that Drew Allaire didn't get more looks, but what are you going to do? Nick Singleton had his worst game of the year so far, and that's saying something. But, you get the win still, which obviously you need to do, but it's just the way you want it. And, looking ahead, not as confident as last week. And I think this is a wake-up call type of game. Gotta be honest. I think you need a game like this to bring you down back to earth in a way. You still got the win. You're still undefeated, as you should be. But you needed a game like this to bring you back down, settle you down, and say, hey, we're not as good as we think we are. And that leads you to beat up Northwestern. So, 33-14 the final. Penn State, obviously, got out to a 14-0 lead. And then it was 14-14. Oh, no, 21-14 at the half. It was 14-14 for a while there. Ugh. But, I mean, even on first downs for both teams, you beat them in the rushing game. They beat you in the passing game. And I got to give credit to Central Michigan. Good team. I think they could be contenders in the MAC. So good for them coming out and fighting. But I mean, looking at it from the Penn State perspective, you should have done better. Clifford, 22 for 34, 217. Drew Allaire had 2 for 5. He did get sacked once. 20 yards for Drew. Keaton Allen, for the rushing game, was the star. The other freshman running back we have, the true freshman. 111 yards on 13 attempts, and he had a TD, and his longest run was 37. Pretty good. Nick Singleton, 12 rushing attempts. He got 46. Yep. His longest was a 21-yard run. They kept Singleton at bay, so good for them. Parker Washington, the leading wide receiver, with 64 yards. Michael Tinsley had a touchdown. Brenton Strange had 2 touchdowns. Yeah, and oh god, the kicking. Oh boy, Jesus. Yo, the field goal is a major concern right now. Got to be honest, our kicking unit. Jake Pinniger struggling hard. So I don't know if they got to make a change there. I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm concerned for this kicking unit, kicking field goals, because boy, if it comes down to a game against a quality team at a later date, Michigan, Ohio State, and you need a field goal late, a little bit of concern, not gonna lie. The defense, P.J. Mustapher led everybody. Joey Porter Jr. had a good game, as always. Jair Brown, of course. Abdul Carter. Chris Jacobs, Jalen Reed, the usual suspects. So, I mean, the second quarter was rough. The second quarter was rough for this game. Loss of downs, punt, touchdown, field goal attempt that was missed. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm concerned, but you know, a game like that against a team you should have covered the spread. You should have covered the 28.5. And they win it, and they not only cover, but cover almost half of that. Bit of concerning. And that will lead us to Northwestern. 3:30 p.m. on Saturday from Beaver Stadium. This is the second Big Ten game of the year for Penn State. They beat Purdue week 1. The last meeting these two teams had was October 7th, 2017. Penn State won 31-7. And Penn State leads the all-time series 14-5. This is Pat Fitzgerald. And he is 2-6 against Penn State. Ooh, geez. Now, looking at Northwestern here, beat Nebraska week 1. Good for them. Lost to Duke week 2, lost to Southern Illinois, and lost to Miami of Ohio. So they lose all their non-conference games, and they come into Penn State here, come into Beaver Stadium. So the spread for this one, Penn State, 26.5 is the number. Man, oof. I don't know, especially after last week. I don't know, man. That's a tough number. I mean, they could come out and just dominate, but, you know, I was expecting that last week, and look what happened. So, I don't know. We'll see about that. The over-under is 52. Penn State has covered 75% of their games this year. Obviously, last week wasn't one of them. So, yeah, Big Ten home opener for Penn State. Obviously, the, looking at some of the breakdowns here, Nick Singleton, obviously, still the leading rusher for Penn State. I'm hoping he has a bounce-back game. Clifford, of course. Evan Hall is a big one for Northwestern. Looking at my scouting report here, he pretty much runs their offense pretty much. Their running back, Evan Hall. 370 yards, 3 TDs on the year. Pretty good, up there with Singleton. Singleton has less rushing attempts, but he's right up there with them. Ryan Hilsanski is their quarterback. 114 of 183, 1,194 passing yards, 5 TDs, 3 interceptions so far on the year. Hull also leading the receiving yards for Northwestern, 29 for 311 and 1 TD. And Bryce Gallagher is their leading defender right now with 38 total tackles and 1 quarterback hurry. Yeah, okay. So, you know, it's just looking at this. I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't put my... it's going to be an interesting game. Now, Penn State comes out and play like the way they did against Auburn, I'll feel a little bit more comfortable going into the bye week. But, man, if they come out and Northwestern's hanging around, and this is nothing against Pat Fitzgerald and his team. I respect Northwestern. I think they all, even though the record doesn't show it this year, I think they can be a decent team. But you have to show why you're favored by 26.5 and the number 11 team in the nation. You have to show it. Because I don't think they beat Michigan, I gotta be honest with you. The next 3 games after this are gonna be a struggle. And, you know, granted, you do have the bye week, so you can reset if things don't go well, but, you know, again, at Michigan, Minnesota in the whiteout, Ohio State. 3 weeks in a row. I don't know. I really do not know. So, we're going to see what happens. I don't know. I hope they cover. I hope they do the thing. So, we'll just have to wait and see. Because if not, there's going to be a lot of questions. Like, I know people don't think we can beat Michigan already. But if we struggle against Northwestern here this week, There's going to be a lot more questions and answers going into that Michigan game on the 15th of October. That's going to do it, though. We'll have to wait and see what happens in Beaver Stadium this Saturday. So, thank you all for watching this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And thanks again. Until the next one, we are